there. I'm John, and I'm here with Sam. And what we're doing is we're going to be having a conversation that, in the first place, better be a lot of fun, and in the second place, ought to have a lot of value for each and every one of you. So the person that I'm talking with in this conversation is Samantha Card, and all you need to know about her is she's awesome, and she has enough energy to run a couple of freight trains. She is awesome. So, and me, I'm kind of the guy that is here as her number one fan and just kind of rocking along with her. So, Sam, take it away.
Yeah, and I actually want to start, right? Because you are very important to me on a lot of levels. One of the first things I thought about and introspectively reflected about you was that you said you're a rogue scholar, right? That cultural architect. And I'm like, how can you be a rogue scholar? I feel like that's like an oxymoron. That doesn't really make sense to me. And the more and more we started to talk, I completely understood that you go against the grain, but you're more than in like every aspect, every front. And that is one of the major reasons why you are where you're at. And I think what's really cool about it is where you started, which, me as an athlete, I absolutely love your professional dancing career, coaching, to then pivoting and adding adjacencies to performance development across the world. Like you impact people at a level that you probably don't even know. So I'm in awe and honor. Like you're a coach, you're a mentor, you're a friend, you're a lot to me. So I wanted others to really understand the type of dialogue when they have a coach or someone they aspire to be or look up to or have the mentorship and want to enhance their performance development. What are the types of dialogues you should have? Who are the people you should like interface with? And what the conversations look like? They shouldn't be so stiff. So I wanted everyone to kind of have an insight to what we do on the weekly basis.
This is really good, Sammy. One of the things that I'm a fan of a guy who is called the digital nomad. His name is Andrew Henderson, and he has one rule, and the rule is go where you're appreciated. So what we want to do is we'd like to make this a kind of a conversation. We love being with one another. We found that out. It just tickles us to be with either. And what we want to do is we want to invite others to come in because I want them to be in a place where they will be appreciated.
Exactly. And that goes to like our why, right? So a lot of people may be thinking, well, why would you do this? Like, why would you have an unedited? And when we say unedited, like we're just letting you in. Just
Yeah.
another day, another conversation, another chance to just be great and learn something new. So what's your vision for this? Like why do you want to do this?
Well, it's interesting because when I look at the word why, I actually see that there are three parts of the question why. And it's what, how, and why. And I'm going to use the example of a bunch of people coming together in the National Football League at the beginning of the year. And the what is to be the world champion. That's, why are you playing the game?
Yep.
The what is be the world champion. The how is win the Super Bowl. Duh. And the why is so you can wear the ring. So you can have the experience of the ring. So the what, how, and why of all of this is about is that there's something about a relationship that is magic, and that there's something that is about being effective together that is honoring and enhancing to our humanity. And the why is because it feels good.
As ever, you always have the best feedback and comments and just thought. For me, my why is I have a lot of people that look to me, look up to me, want to interface with me at different levels. Sometimes they don't have the courage right out of the gate to come up to me, or they say, hey, I don't really respond to your stuff, but I'm watching you. And for me, that resonated and hit me pretty hard because I have a responsibility to pour back into others just as I was afforded. And to not hold anything back. Like what I see sometimes with leaders is they hold pieces of the secret sauce back. For
Mm,
what? That's not
mm,
leadership. Like I want someone to take my role. I want someone to take my spot and be better than I
yep.
could be. So my why and my aspirational vision for this is to just give some people some insight, some courage to have a different dialogue, to be prepared to talk to that executive level person that maybe they don't feel like they're entitled to be in that table or in the elevator and have fruitful conversation. We have like one life to live. There's no dress rehearsals here. So let's just have fun, go all in, mess it up, and I'm sure you're going to surprise yourself. So that's really kind of my why, which you've
I
inspired.
really like that, Sammy. There's, I want to just say while you're saying that, it occurs to me that there's three ways to participate in life, and mostly people participate at the lowest level. The lowest level is how you got through high school, and if you went to college, how you got through college, which is you audit and you cherry pick.
Mhm,
Okay, that'll work, and I'll use that, but I won't use that, and everything else like that. So that's the way that people get through, and they get through in life. So that's one,
mhm.
and it's a completely valid way of participating. The second way of participating is the way that I call scrambling and whining. So people, oh, you don't know how much I've got on my plate. I've got so much to do, and
Mhm,
they're scrambling and they're to get it all done and to look good, and they're whining about it.
mhm,
So that's a valid way to do it too. So you can audit and cherry pick, or
mhm.
you can scramble and whine, or you can do it the third way, which is all in. And here's the deal: all of them are valid, and the conversation that you and I are going to have is an all in conversation. So it's okay with me if somebody wants to audit and cherry pick. I'm just not going to pay any attention to them. And if they're going to be scrambling and whining, I'll feel sorry for them for about a half a second and we're moving out. But really, 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 what makes the difference, what is awesome in life, is being around people who are all in. And not only that, but all in the way that you are, which is all in and lean in.
You know it. There's no other way to be. I don't
Exactly.
have anything outside of my being that is less
Exactly.
than 50%. And you said something that is really important, and it took me a while to learn this. Not everyone is able and at the point in their life for some shape or reason or form to receive the information that you're putting out. And they could be gems. But sometimes you're only talking to what, 10 to 20% of those that are going to be able to not only receive it, but introspectively reflect and apply the concepts. You can't save everyone if someone doesn't want to be saved, let's just say. So,
Yeah, well, Sammy asked me this question. Asked me, what's the most important element in humor?
all right, what's the most important in
Timing.
humor?
Timing is, timing's everything.
I know. That's
You know.
that's great actually. I'm gonna use that one again. The problem is now I have to give you credit because we're on a call and everyone's gonna be able to see this. So now I gotta give you
Oh
credit.
no, no, no! I stole that from other people. Don't worry. I have never made up anything or created anything new in my life, but I'm pretty good at stealing and synthesizing.
And consolidating. Yeah, so there's something that I would say over the last maybe 3, 4 weeks, I wrote down something that you said, and I want to actually highlight it. And then after that, really kind of show everybody the root and pillars of what we intend to talk about going forward. And look,
Okay.
the only reason I want to structure it, because I want us to be so free float. The only reason I'm structuring it so everyone can understand the pillars that are going to root our conversations, and then over the time bring other experts in that have a different perspective so we can be inclusive and really have some good granular deep rooted conversations. So it's important to have a little bit of structure, but you know us, we're going to free flow. So all right, one of the quotes you said that was really important was people living into a picture, not a vision.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. 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 This is where do people sell out in life? People sell out by, and it's in everything. It's in your marriage, it's in your relationships, it's in your career, it's in your family, it's in your hobbies, it's in your selling out because you really had the capacity, if you'd have gone for it, to go for the gold, but you didn't do that. You decided that you were going to go for the tin. So, I'm living into a picture. The picture is, oh, make the Olympics. No, I'm sorry. The vision is win the gold, set the world champion, set the world record. Really, go beyond and take it beyond. So yeah, go for the vision. Everybody's doing the picture. Do the vision.
Exactly. And I think the picture is where people are comfortable, right? And it's one of those areas where, as I was in corporate America and even as an athlete, I just was always thinking many steps ahead. And I always rooted every aspect of my life towards that vision, less about a singular moment in time.
Exactly.
And it's been pretty fruitful for me because it enabled me to fail often and learn and grow and show others that they can do it too. But I just wanted to highlight that because a lot of times we're very singular in other people's perspective of happiness, fulfillment, and different things that fill into your cup. But in reality, is that really your why? Is that really
Yeah.
your vision? And I think it's something we should challenge ourselves to do often because you need to have the courage to do so. But
Yeah. I liked what you said a minute ago about failing. You know, you might say that one of the fundamental principles of actually getting somewhere in life is to fail forward fast.
yep,
So let's do that.
I live by it. It's just and for athletes listening in, for the corporate athletes listening in, let's break down what that really means and something that you do every day, right? So
Yeah, well, the one of the things that you can say about it is it's something that's embedded in your spirit of
mhm,
a human being,
mhm,
and so one of the things we're going to talk about as we talk about the pillars is how throughout the pillars, what's woven is your humanity or your spirit, and we'll talk about that. So when I say the spiritual aspect of who you are, I'm not really talking about a religious practice or
yeah,
belief. I'm
yeah,
really talking about uh, something that is on the inside that we want to tap. You know, uh, I always feel like our job is to find the pilot light and to turn it up. As a matter of fact, to set you on fire and pour gas on you.
your visuals are always, I mean, the best. And the way, as an athlete, I have reflected on your comments about this is when I would go to the gym, it was my time to just be a beast, be a monster, go all in, lift heavy. I'm not worried about anyone's perspective of it. It was me versus me, it's you versus you, and it's step up, show up, or get out, right?
Exactly. Step up, show up, or shut up.
And get out, right? And it's interesting because a lot of times athletes and others, they have this switch that they don't feel that they can use in different scenarios, when in reality you can be a beast mode in business. You can be a beast mode in the gym and max out. That's how you know where your thresholds are, and I guarantee that you're going to put more weight on the bar because you can do a lot more than you think you can.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. And I think distinguishing beasts is really good, Sammy, because for one thing, person has to get very clear that they do not have to be an asshole to be a beast.
I agree.
They just have to lean in.
Yeah, I mean, look, you'll be misunderstood a lot,
Oh, yeah.
and that doesn't make you any less humble and appreciative for the opportunity to get to do it. What happens is so many people get into the minutia of, well, I have to go do this to lose weight, or I have to go to work to make money for my family, I have to do this for that. No, 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 you get to do it, and there's a chance and a choice, and you can choose greatness every day. It's the mindset of how you approach everything. And we've gotten so behind the 8 ball on our approach to certain things sometimes.
Yeah, there's a pretty smart guy a couple of thousand years ago said something called, he said, many are called, but few choose themselves. Now, you didn't hear it that way and you didn't read it that way, but that's what he meant. He meant many are called, but few choose themselves. When I was 17 years old in high school, there was a guy named John Landy that changed my life, and I've never met him. And John Landy was a guy who decided he was going to run a mile in under 4 minutes because nobody could run a mile in under 4 minutes. So he went out and he ran a mile in under 4 minutes, changed my life, changed the life of thousands of other people. 3 years later, I'm in Ireland and there's a guy there that is a great runner, great Irish runner. And people said, did you hear what this guy did? His name is Sebastian Coe. He said, do you know what he ran? He said, he ran a 3:57.7. And somebody went, wow. I said, yeah, he came in 7th.
Holy smokes.
John Landy. That's the guy.
Yeah. And you open up something that's important, right? And it's going to weave into our pillars that we're going to go to, but you're going to interface with a lot of different types of people, right? And they're going to have different perspectives. They're going to have different experiential things that have happened that have rooted how they act in the present or intend to act in the future. That is a given, right? But I think what's extremely important for an all-in mentality is just because someone else is risk averse and doesn't see it, that is not your reality. Their insecurity is theirs. It's not yours. So you're never going to be where you want to go if you don't take the first step. And what happens is people don't take the first step because of other people's influence over, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't leave corporate America and not have a 401k. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to save yourself? I mean, how are you going to have health care? All this kind of
It's even worse than that, because generally it's the one who are not taking the chance that are actually telling you to cool it.
Yeah.
And if you're an athlete, it quite often happens when you're around 18, 19 years old and you want to really go for it. And you've got the people who love you the most and therefore care the most about you and your future, who are telling you, well, being a fill in the blank is a good thing, but you need to have something to fall back on. My point of view is people who have a fallback position is that's where they end up, in their fallback position.
Agree.
So you need to actually trust your own spirit, trust your own heart. It is a spiritual commitment to yourself and to your own greatness for you to lean in and move on.
Agree. And you have to go all in. And where the real differentiation comes into play, and I've lived this, is you're going to be motivated because you're going to be doing your passion, your why. It's because you want to do it. But motivation subsides. And on the days that some motivation subsides, it's the discipline that you have gained as an athlete that will carry you through, because the real work happens when no one is watching.
That's right. That is exactly right.
And that goes for every type of athlete. That goes for any type of.
It doesn't matter where you are. There was one of the greatest ballerinas in the world said, if I don't go to the bar, BARRE is where the dancers practice. Okay. And she said, if I don't go to the bar for 3 days, I know it. If I don't go for 4 days, the audience knows it. So you know what? She was 54 years old and she was still a prima ballerina. How come? Because she was going to the bar every friggin' day.
Yeah, discipline. Yeah, and we hear people throw the word around a lot, but the true meaning of it is when you wake up and you're not feeling so great, but it's your inability to have your body tell your mind what to do versus having your, train your mind to do what you want it to do. Mindset is everything.
Yeah, it's really getting clear about who's running the show.
Yeah, and David Goggins is very big on that.
Oh my God, yes.
And what I really love about his just full throttle all in on that is that there is no excuse. You're accountable for your actions, your response, your inability or your ability to do anything. And
Yeah.
I've kind of lived my life like that, and I don't apologize. And I'm okay if you're offended by my confidence. I'm
You
okay.
know, it's a choice in every moment.
Yeah.
Are you going to choose comfort or greatness?
Yeah.
Are you going to choose being a special person, or are you going to choose actually going for extraordinary?
Yeah. And you're
It's
gonna
all a
be
choice,
misunderstood. You're gonna be
and in every moment.
yeah. So, with that, me, I'm super excited about all of this because number one, you inspire me, and I just love talking to you. Like I said, I think it's important to kind of ground, everyone who's going to watch and benefit, and also for us to just weave in some pillars that are going to be kind of our foundational blueprint to just weave through very high, high level topics, some more granular topics. And what's going to be great is that others are going to ask, hey, could you talk about this or what about that? And we always want to make sure that we're rooted with these four pillars to kind of help
Yep.
guide it, if you're good with that.
Yep.
So the first one that I'm pretty passionate about is mental strength.
Mental strength.
And we've kind of hit on it a little bit already about being able to do a lot more than you think you can. And it goes into, some of the things you talked about on the spirituality side and having an inner belief of self.
Yeah.
So this one's important because you've got to kind of like you said, lean in and know that there's going to be some bad days. That doesn't make it a bad life. Right? So how do you have the adversity? How do you handle all of the different aspects on the journey when you fall? Because you will fall. You're going to.
Well, the answer to the how is I love. Listen, there's a certain aspect of Nike that I love. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's the how. There's nothing sweet about it, nice about it, comfortable about it, or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Do you have the inner spirit? Do you have the inner chop? Do you have the soul of the winner that you actually owe yourself to be? Because your birthright is the birthright of a champion, but only if you claim it. So just do it.
You're right. I mean, we don't need to complicate it anymore. I mean, that
No.
embodiment of mental strength. So as we navigate a lot of topics, I think that's going to be a core component, right, of why someone doesn't just do it, right, versus why they would do it, and how do you overcome, right, that kind of thing. The other one is the business acumen and kind of the human capital side of the game. There
Okay.
you go. I lost you.
Yeah. My battery almost went down, but I got to it and saved it.
You know it. So on the second one, right, is more like the business acumen and kind of like the human capital piece of it, right? And for me, the way I was thinking about this was living your life like a work of art. You are the brand.
Yep.
And there's a lot of times that we don't spend the time to learn our why. And I'm not just saying our why surface level. It's very much rooted in your view of it being three-dimensional. And for me, it's digging below the surface and talking about the feely stuff that nobody wants to talk about, which is really what is your driver
Right.
in the game here.
Yeah. Well, getting it's a game. So
Yeah.
getting that it's a game, and then really understanding that the game is called living your life as a work of art. And then living your life as a work of art, what is the essence of that? Well, it's your health, duh. It's your relationships, duh. It's your passion, duh. It's your ongoing development and growth, yes, duh.
Yeah.
And then it's your contributing back to others. It's those 5 things that are inside of that. And this whole idea of your ongoing business development,
Hmm.
No matter who you are, that is a duh.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're gonna have fun with that one because I think that one can morph into a lot of different things. And it kind of also goes into the third one, which is more around like the social capital kind of stock worth, right? And I struggled on thinking about this one, right? And I kind of was on the fence about it, but it's really around going back to the you are the brand, but it weaves in more of the human behavior aspects, having the
Uh-huh.
EQ, right? And understanding that you need to learn others and why people react the way they do, or how to interface with different types of people for that common goal and vision, to keep everything moving. So I thought that was a good one to kind of bring in.
Well,
um,
I think that's really clearly important and key, because first of all, nobody does it themselves. Nobody does it by themselves. We're all doing it. We're human beings. We're social beings. We're always in relationship to others, and no matter how hot you think you are or good you think you are, you just watch how far you can get without other people actually being on the team and being a partner of yours. So this is part and parcel of that. You are the brand, but your brand is comprised of everything that is around you, including your coaches and your mentors and your teachers.
Yeah, and I think a misconstrued concept, right? I always hear this, and I've kind of weave this into when I talk and mentor other athletes. You know, they always have ingrained there is no I in team, right? There is no I in team. It's for the common goal of the group. I agree with it, but it's also bigger than that. You can't be good for the team if you're not good for you. So there's an M and an E in it. And you also need to put the oxygen mask on before you help others. So where is that? And I hate the word balance, but where is kind of that intersection and congruency of both of those aspects that culminate into that all in behavior
Wow.
mentality?
Wow. I have a little different relationship to the word balance than you do. Then I have to say, because I look at it as part of a three-part conversation.
Okay.
And this is every athlete, doesn't matter what they do, but it's also every business person. It's every pastor if they're doing their religion. It's every mother or father. It's every child. It is every Cub Scout. It is that who you are as an effective person is a function of strength,
Hmm.
balance, and flexibility.
I like that. I'm writing that down.
So strength, balance, and flexibility. Yeah, balance on its own. Yeah, balance on its own plus $5 will buy you a latte at Starbucks. Big deal. What we want is we want strength, balance, and flexibility. Here's the deal: you're good at two of those. Nobody's good at all three. So what you do is you work on all three, and you work on the ones that you're the weakest at, and that builds your strength across the board, and you build a sense of balance, strength, balance, and flexibility.
Yeah, I like that. And yeah, you are always one with having a multitude of different pathways to take on something, right? It's not
I've made a lot of
ever.
mistakes, Sammy. I've made a lot of mistakes.
Well, I guess that's part of the reason why I don't like the word balance by itself, because
Right.
maybe I haven't been able to articulate it in the way that you have just now, which makes complete sense. But that's why, because there's so many different facets.
Well, here's the deal. You have and I have, we have no idea what the word balance means. And here's what I mean by that. When you were about 4 or 5 years old, you were learning to ride a bike. Okay. And somebody was standing next to you and they had their hand on the saddle, and they said something to you that went like this. They said, 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot on the pedal, 2 hands on the handlebars, push off, pedal hard, keep your balance. You were cool until the word balance. And here's the deal: you could walk around, you could tiptoe around, you could walk a line, you could do all of that. You knew what balance was. No, you didn't. And until you actually discovered balance on two wheels, you did not know what balance was on a bicycle. So we are constantly relearning what balance is, constantly relearning it. And the arrogance is we think we know. So when somebody says, keep your balance, oh, no problem. And no problem is the beginning of a lot of problems.
And that's why the social capital aspect of a pillar is so important, because just like the example of the bike, it's the same concept on human behavior. We evolve, right?
Yeah,
There's still a lot of data, and your book highlights it extremely well, on where others kind of congregate together, where we're deep rooted to feel longing, right, to feel like the environment around us is comfortable. And for those that think a little differently, right, and my definition of differently is that all in ability to fall forward, lean in, make the mistake, pick it up, be humble and graceful and terrible all at the same time, and kind of evolve here, treat people how they want to be treated, not your version or perception of how you think they want to be treated. So
yeah, that's really good. That is really good. Yeah, well, it's a spiritual quality.
mhm,
It's an honoring of who you are and an honoring of our relationship.
agree. So I think I think, and let me correct myself, I know that that is going to be a critical component in all of this, because as we build upon the concepts, we're going to have different perspectives, we're going to have similar perspectives on it, but it really is going to drive at the evolution of strength, balance, and flexibility, and being very versatile in a lot of it. So I really like that.
Yeah, well, and another thing that's really at the heart of it all, and it's at the heart of learning, is the idea of thesis. You have a thesis. You have the four pillars thesis. I have an antithesis, you know, or antithesis. But us talking together and kind of rocking and rolling together and everything else like that, something occurs as a synthesis. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for what is the useful synthesis that occurs out of the conflict between thesis and antithesis?
Yeah, and that really goes into the fourth pillar, going pro in life.
Going pro in life.
And this one for me, this one, it hits my heart, it hits my being. We all feel, and actually let me correct myself, many feel that you have to just be one version, right? Or you have an idea in your head and that's what you're going for, you're all in. And that's fantastic. Look, I'm not knocking you. But going pro in life is not singular. It's going pro in every facet. Like you talked about relationships, sports, professional, personal growth. I mean, it's the culmination of it all. And you can parallel past some things. And guess what? Like you said about strength, balance, and flexibility, you're never going to be an expert in all of them, but you're going to do your best to hit them, and you're going to try to evolve. And guess what? 1% better every day. There's cumulative results to that.
Yep. Yep. Really brilliant. Really brilliant. And the more that we learn this in partnership with one another, the more we learn that no matter what we do, is whether it be sport or business or family or relationships or games,
Mhm.
no matter what it is, it's about the relationship first. And that we're in the relationship business, and then we're in whatever business we're in.
Mhm.
So let's get ourselves straightened out and clear and clean about that. One thing that really works for you and me is we didn't have to mess around with figuring out whether we were in relationship or not. We just made it up that we were, and it started getting really good right away.
Agree. Agree. Yeah, and I can't wait to dig into that. That's going to be probably a whole entire week discussion. There's
Well, look
no doubt
at you,
about it.
and you're the perfect spiritual representation of that. I mean, like really, you're I don't care what it is that comes up. I know that Sammy Card has got a spirit that she's going to attack life doing, and I can count on that. So I can count on you. And when I can count on you, I know that I have a character-based relationship with you, where it's not just a matter of your values. Your values are great, and you have great values, but it's really your character that is attractive.
Yeah. Thank you. As ever, you always kind of you're so articulate, and it just you inspire me in a different way, right? And as I grow and lean all the way into this, learning from others as I'm also pouring into others is critical.
Yeah.
Because the day someone stops learning and the day someone stops being curious with life is the day they will never progress further.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. Mark Twain said, most people kind of grow until they're about 18 or 19 or 20, and then they spend the next 40 years waiting to die.
yeah.
And that's not the game that we're playing here. Really, I think, I would rather blow up than just kind of rust. And it's a question of what are you going to settle for or what are you going to demand of yourself? It's not a comfortable conversation, but you have to look inside yourself to see, is this the game I want to play? If not, and oh, by the way, if you're in this conversation and this is not the conversation for you, you should go away, because this conversation is a sacred conversation for people who look at life in a particular way, and they're looking at life to win, to actually get ahead, to give their all, and then die.
Yeah, we have one life to live. There's no dress rehearsals here.
That's
Might as well
exactly
have
right.
fun and just go. I mean, I struggle with those that don't want to go all in, and we will talk about that coming up. But I kind of want to tee up and leave everybody with, okay, that's great. Now I kind of understand what you guys are doing. It's gonna be fun. You're rooted in the pillars, but next week, proposal for your consideration, because I think it's an important one to kind of build off, is the emotional regulation aspect and the championship routine and living your life like a work of art and how it all kind of intersects, where it doesn't, where you can parallel past certain things, and how do you manage your reactivity and response through it.
Yeah, that's really good. It brings up an inner conversation about what Aristotle called the moral virtues of courage, temperance, justice, and prudence. So we will dial those in to next week's conversation.
All right. As ever, you are like my fave. Never change. You're amazing. And we're really gonna help some people. I mean, you helped me, but scaling this out, I think it's just gonna help so many people. So thank you.
I'm telling you, it is such an honor and a privilege to have met you and to be associated with you. And it really is an access for me. I'm an old man, and so it's a real access to life for me to be in relationship with this vibrant being that you are. You're such a demand for excellence.
Well, as ever, thank you, and we'll be back next week with Thoughtful Thursdays.
Okie dokie.
See you then.
Ciao, ciao.